Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel.
Mangotology.
Sorry I haven't been posting videos the last couple days. I took a little weekend trip with Jeff.
Here are a few photos that we took last weekend when we went to Reno, Nevada.
And I just kind of had to get away from all of the Scientology stuff for a little while. It's very hard to continuously talk about it, be surrounded by it, and just engulfed in that whole entire world. It's kind of toxic, I feel, so for me, sometimes I go on a little break for a few days. I'm sorry I didn't warn you guys. I guess it wasn't necessarily a prepared thing where I was planning to get away from YouTube for a few days, but maybe subconsciously I just kind of needed a little bit of a break. But I am back. I have so many videos that I have planned for you guys, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about the Stand League. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with what the Stand League is, but it's one of the newest Scientology front groups that's kind of polluting the internet right now, and I want to expose who they are, what they're about, and how we can ultimately stop Scientology's Stand League from influencing the internet, I guess, because it's mostly a force, I guess we can say, not a powerful force, but they are polluting the internet. So who are the Stand League? I'm going to read on the Stand League website what they claim to be, what they're about, their mission statement, and then we're going to get into a little bit more of the details on who these guys actually are.
Mission statement. Our mission is to protect Scientologists from intolerance and prejudice, and to dispel rumors and lies about the Scientology religion, Scientologist church leadership, and our founder. The purpose of Scientologists taking action against discrimination, STAND, is to end forever the defamation and bigotry towards Scientologists and the Scientology religion, and to protect everyone's basic inalienable right to practice their chosen faith. Activities. Scientologists taking action against discrimination, exposes and dispels rumors and lies about Scientology, Scientologists, and the founder of their religion, lays bare anti-religious extremists and bigots, monitors and reports hate crimes, provides hate crime, hate speech reporting mechanism, unites religious and human rights groups in a fight against religious persecution and bigotry, reports important news and development in securing religious liberty internationally, brings together communities in the name of religious freedom, and provides expertise on the Scientology religion.
Scientology always wants to play the victim. They always want to act like they are this very small, misunderstood religion that is, in their mind, legitimate, and like, why aren't people just accepting us? There's all these misconceptions out there and people believing that we think that we worship, you know, an alien Xenu warlord, or that we attack our critics, or that we believe in XYZ. So basically on the Stand League website, they even have a section that's called Fact or Fiction, where you can go on and they claim that you can click on different things, like say Scientology's financial practices, or Scientology on fair game, and you can actually read Scientology's side on what they claim like these hot issues are that people are discussing, whether it's Leah Remini show, whether it's people like me on YouTube, or bloggers, or just other ex-Scientology critics, I guess we can say. And Scientology has like their side of the story on the website. They feel that that's going to kind of deter people away from believing, you know, people like me, that you guys are watching right now. But this is the thing, that's all well and good. Like, for example, if the Catholic Church had up like a website and said, hey, people think that we do, you know, this horrible thing, but really this is the truth. It doesn't come off in the same way with Scientology. And it's because Scientology uses this attacking, very vengeful, angry sort of language when they go after their critics or ex-members, or, you know, the famous people like Leah, who have, you know, made a very big public break, but also are exposing Scientology. And Scientology thinks that we're making a stand. You know, obviously the STAND, it stands for Scientologists taking a stand against discrimination, but they think that they're actually making their stand by saying like, hey, this is the actual truth. But this is the thing, Scientology is using this very slanderous, very bullying sort of language that they use to try to discredit someone like Leah. And a religion should not be attacking a former member just because they decided that something wasn't right or something isn't ethical, for example. And you would think, Scientology should think, what are we doing that we can stop doing potentially if they were like a normal religious group or someone that was charitable or an organization that was legitimate, that wasn't concerned with finances, that wasn't concerned with control, they would think and say, hey, people are concerned that we have this forced abortion policy, for example, or disconnection. So how about we just make a public statement ending disconnection? Why couldn't they do that? It's because they are a cult and they need aspects of things like disconnection and fair game and whatever to keep members in the organization, or everyone would leave. There'd be no repercussion for someone if they didn't have to necessarily worry about like losing their family, whatever. So they have to have these aspects of control in order to keep people in their organization. But if they were a real group, they could say, hey, let's end disconnection, let's do this or that, like let's really clean up our public relations image. And like, for example, with Shelley Miscavige, they can bring out Shelley Miscavige at the Celebrity Center Gala. If she was well and she was accessible, for example, they would just put her on the Celebrity Center Gala red carpet in August, whenever they do their annual gala, and they'd say, here's Shelley, and Shelley can make a statement being like, I do not want any publicity, any press, I'm alive, and I'm well, and I'm just on this special mission, or whatever Scientology is claiming. They would at least show her. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like Scientology can't do something like that. So that's why they have to just attack, attack, attack. Silence Leah. Silence Steve Mango. Silence the YouTube critics. Silence anyone who's willing to call them out for what's actually going on. And that's the only way they feel that they can continue to do what they do, is if they stop someone like Leah, and they have to protect their public image. I know so many people, or people that I meet just in like my daily everyday life, and everyone is so curious about Scientology, but they know that Scientology is a cult. The first thing is Scientology is a controlling group, or whatever language you want to use, or oh, I'm scared of them, or I've heard so much. And most people, I feel like, that at least I've met, have a general consensus of Scientology's bad, it's evil, it's corrupt. People know that. So Scientologists developed this STAND League, the Scientologists Taking Action Against Discrimination. And they feel that the best way that they can control the public's perception of Scientology is to kind of attack, but they have to do it in a new media, new age sort of way. Because this is the thing with Scientology. LRH and his policies and all of that sort of stuff, they're derived from a generation from 60 years ago, 50 years ago, 40 years ago, whenever it was, when LRH, say, talked about how to handle critics, for example. And it was always attack, never defend, just go after them. You can sue, slander, anything to a critic or enemy of Scientologists, to no repercussion of the Scientologist. So they can basically do or say anything in order to take down the critics of Scientology. So the STAND League knows that people are researching Scientology on the internet. Scientology, obviously, because Leah's show primarily. The reason I keep bringing up Leah or Mike is because they're doing like the most right now. Like, they're the most extra, they're going above and beyond, they're on TV, and they're making their stance known, and they're really revealing to a whole different audience. And this is the thing with something like YouTube, I'm only able to say reach like 10,000 subscribers, where someone like Mike and Leah are actually able to reach an everyday person who's just watching A&E or watching TV, or they can get into millions of people's homes. And yeah, I'm able to go on YouTube and I talk to an audience that is very interested in Scientology, but I'm not really sometimes reaching like a whole new person. I'm reaching out people who are specifically looking for Scientology, versus someone who's watching TV and like, oh, this is interesting, like let's take a peek at, what this Leah Remini has to say, for example, about Scientology, and what is Scientology. And, I feel like a lot of people obviously have come to my channel because they've seen Leah's show on television and they just want to get to know more. They're really interested in learning about the abuses and what we can do, and I can tell you guys specifically what I think is a good way to stop the STAND League. So we're getting all to that, so hang on tight. This is a ride we're going on in this video. So they know, even though it's not in any LRH policy, nowhere does it say go on Twitter and make up 40 accounts, or does it say go on YouTube and put up those hate ads or something like that. So Scientology has been hitting really hard lately by coming up with like these ads and these STAND League Twitter accounts, for example. So what was revealed with these STAND League Twitter accounts? So people are wondering, are they real people? Are they fake? Is it just a stock image? Like, what is the deal with the STAND League on Twitter? So from what I've seen from the STAND League, there are some real people or real names of Scientologists that are attached to the STAND League. So for example, there was Ed Parkin, who met Ed several times at different like protests and different Scientology events when I'd be going like, you know, with my camera, or I'd be just kind of like scoping out the scene sort of thing. I would meet with Ed and we talk and that sort of thing, and he would try to like handle me for trying to, you know, interbulate or try to upset the Scientologists or tell passerbys about what Scientology actually is. So for example, they'd have an account and it would say Ed Parkin's Stan League, and you'd go on his page and there's all like the Scientology propaganda stuff. There's even one tweet I think I saw of him, it was like, L. Ron Hubbard, my best friend, but it's not even just like that. It's mostly them attacking other, you know, people or critics or whoever that they feel that, hey, you know, if someone types in Scientology in the aftermath, they may come across one of these Stan League accounts and they're going to get the true story. Like that's what Scientology is hoping. So what they feel like is if, for example, the critics go here with that much effort, Scientology has to match that in some way. So they're not able to get their own TV show, but they can kind of take over the internet, for example, because they know people are going to really Google and try to see like what's the other side of the story, for example, or let's get more information on this member who appeared on the show or whatever. So they know that people are going to find these Scientology propaganda sites or like the Stan Front League sort of thing. And they also had a comedian, is it Evan Wexell, I believe is his name, and he was at Celebrity Center. I didn't know him personally, but I saw like his photo, but I recognized his name, and I saw his photo and his name next to Stan Lee. So like, okay, there are some like real names of Scientologists, but it was revealed online, and I'm going to show some images here, that a lot of those Stan League bots on Twitter, they are bots, and they're being run by Scientology's Office of Special Affairs, or maybe even sometimes up from the Scientologists themselves who've been trained how to handle the internet. There's specific departments, even people like Tori Chrisman, she talks about how Scientology used to try to handle the internet, but basically they would use stock images from like Getty Images or like those sort of websites, or just from Google. They reverse image search, kind of like catfish style, and they found out that a lot of these accounts are actually using images from just like stock photos, so they're not actually belonging to real people.
Here is some of the proof that Scientology is using stock images to legitimize their Stan Lee Twitter accounts.
And they're mostly tweeting out the same sort of hate lies and things, because Scientology goes, and whether they're going through people's pre-clear folders or whether they, you know, manufacture a lie about someone, they come and they figure out what's the most slanderous thing or the most damaging thing that we can say. So for example, like if they were going to attack me, that could be like, you know, Steve Mango is just spreading lies about Scientology. He couldn't make it in Scientology because, you know, he was, you know, unethical by, you know, being in a relationship with a man. So he decided to like attack his former religion, and he's just a fame-hungry, you know, actor or wannabe actor who never could make it. So he has to attack Scientology to remain relevant on YouTube. And, you know, he sells merchandise and he tries to capitalize on the name of Scientology because that's how he makes a living. So therefore, Stephen Mango is discredited, and he talks to other ex-members. He's friends with multiple people who are suppressive, and, you know, they're all working together through the anti-Scientology cult in order to ruin the name of this wonderful religion that's called Scientology. And why would you listen to Steve Mango? He's contradicted himself hundreds of times on the internet. Like, whatever. Like, you know, they'll just come up with this whole entire thing in order to try to get other people to say, like, hey, yeah, maybe Steve Mango's just an attention whore. He puts out videos every couple days, and, you know, he hasn't been in Scientology for a few years. So, like, why should we trust him or listen to him? Like, maybe they're right, and that's what they're banking on. Or they'll say so-and-so is a sex pervert who, it's always like something related to sex. It's always some, this one's a prostitute, this one's this or that. So they come up with all these different sort of lies. This one beats animals or their kids, and they hope that people will say like, oh, like maybe they're not a trustworthy source. Like they actually have like screenshots of an email of someone trying to pick up a prostitute. So let's not believe them about Scientology, for example. And Scientology didn't have a policy from L. Ron Hubbard saying how to handle people or to how to handle like these sort of situations that come up, because it was a whole different generation back then. They didn't have Twitter or YouTube ads, or someone like, you know, like Marty Rathbun's now doing like these sort of video ads and these sort of things. So this is the thing with the Stan Lee too. They're trying to go after advertisers who advertise, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on Leah's show, and go after those advertisers to hopefully pull their advertising dollars away from someone like Leah, so then they can no longer have a show. So they need this public relations front group that's saying, for example, you know, we are, you know, attacking discrimination, whatever, and then they put out tweets such as this.
I am not buying Coca-Cola Company products again, as long as they continue to support hate through their advertising money in A&E's Leah Remini anti-religious hate show. Supporting such hate and bigotry has no place in America today, especially when Coca-Cola violates their own company's policy. The Coca-Cola Company will never condone intolerance or discrimination of any kind.
So they're hoping that Coca-Cola will see this from like an official like church, sort of letterhead sort of thing that says Scientologists taking action. Say, oh wow, like we didn't actually know we were advertising, so heavily on Leah's show. And look at all the angry Scientologists and their religion. And, maybe we shouldn't put any advertising money and lose business from the Scientologists because this big, worldwide, multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar organization. Maybe we shouldn't mess with them, like these poor people, like they're just so misunderstood. And that's what Scientology is hoping, is that they can use their like IRS tax exemption and their religious status in order to corrupt advertisers and other people and saying like, you don't want to support this hate speech. Like we're a religion, like we are, we have a amended right to be able to, practice whatever religion we want. And that's true. You can practice or believe in anything. And I'd have no issue with Scientology if they just believed in their doctrine, but it didn't affect or harm other people's lives. If they weren't hurting people, taking their money, scamming them, or doing unethical things. If they were just auditing people, for example, and that's what they believed in, then go for it. Audit everyone in the world if that, that wants to be. Do that. But maybe pay taxes on the money that you're charging people. But it's all corrupt anyways, and the tech doesn't work, and there's so much other stuff. But if we're actually just going to look at the Stan League right now, they're just a public relations group made by Scientologists, and it's backfiring because people seeing like, look at how much and how heavy they're going after Leah. What she's saying must be true. It can't be all fake. What she's saying is having to have some sort of effect on them if they have to go and attack and attack and attack and go after these sort of people like Leah. And it's not working in their favor because people write to me every day and tell me different stories and how they came across these hate websites, but then looked up and to see like what people like me are saying, like maybe they were in Scientology or they are or on the fence to be. So, I would just be wary of these Stan League bots or engaging them. Like, just do not bother with them. And the way I think we can stop these guys is just to report their profiles, report them as spam and harassment, and especially if they're making multiple accounts on, say, Twitter in order to harass or bully or to promote their own form of hate speech, we can just report their profiles. And hopefully if enough of us are going after these Stan League bots, then we can stop them from infiltrating, Twitter. Or if we report the ads as spam on Facebook, for example. And if we just write to anyone, like click on like the I am being harassed help button or whatever. Or if it says bullying, like, like how you can report a profile. Like I'll put some instructions in here if I find someone how you guys can do that. I would just continuously report these profiles or block them. Don't even engage them. Just try to block them and get rid of them. And hopefully, people are going to be able to see through it, come across my video, see other people's stories, whether it's Tony Ortega or whoever, and actually realize like, hey, this is not a real religion. If they have to come and attack people and have this front group that's supposed to be protecting the image of Scientology, but really it's just a front group in order to slander and hate on ex-members because we're speaking the truth and we're telling things that Scientology doesn't want public. So you have to think, if a religion is willing to do that and attack people such as Leah, who's a former member, if they're willing to go that strongly at someone like Leah and put thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars into these campaigns and videos and all that they're doing, you have to think, is that a religion I want to be a part of? Is that a group that is actually, a religion, if you think of what a religion is? And they're not. So anyways guys, I'll stop rambling about the Stan League. But I did want to let you guys know that if you do like videos like this and you do support me and my mission on exposing Scientology, you can go to patreon.com/StephenMango to learn out how you can help me be able to keep my channel going. There's been a big adpocalypse, so it's been very hard for me to be able to continue to make videos. But if you support my content, I have some very exciting things coming out. Documentary-wise, I have a book that I'm working on, and I need your help to be able to continuously expose Scientology. You guys, I'm going up against these big dogs with billions of dollars, and I'm here trying to make a difference by being able to speak out against Scientology. So So if you'd like to learn a little bit more on how you can help me, so for basically the price of a cup of Starbucks coffee per month, you're able to help me be able to take down Scientology. So again, patreon.com/StephenMango if you'd like to learn a little bit more on how you can help support this channel. Give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, let me know your thoughts on those Stanley bot Twitter people, or if you have any encounters with them as well, please let me know how that all went down. Anyways guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.